Hello and welcome to an episode of Historically Marked. I am Jason in South Jordan, Utah, which is a suburb of Salt Lake City. And I am at the cemetery, South Jordan Cemetery, and I'm standing close to a memorial which talks about a tragic accident that happened between a school bus and a train. And it killed many and injured many. So imagine you're riding a school bus to go to school. You're on your way to school. You just got dressed and all that, and suddenly your life changes for the worst. You're either not going to make it out alive or you're forever harmed. But I will tell you all about this memorial. Here we go. So here it is right at the north entrance, and I will read the plaques down here, starting with this one. Tragedy strikes small farming communities. December 1st, 1938 dawned as a snowy, foggy, eerily quiet day. While a school bus headed through the dense winter storm toward Jordan High School, a loaded Denver and Rio Grande freight train rolled north towards Salt Lake City. Near the railroad crossing at 10200 South and 400 West, the driver stopped the bus. He opened the door to look beyond the thick fog, but did not see the 80-plus car flying Ute train approaching at over 50 miles per hour. At 8:43 a.m., the wet rubber tires of the bus strained up at the gentle grade and pulled slowly forward across the tracks. Upon seeing the bus, the train crew immediately applied the brakes, but the collision was inevitable. The tragedy killed 23 children and the bus driver. The 15 survivors faced a lifetime of serious physical injuries and emotional scars. The devastation felt by all residents of the South Salt Lake Valley is impossible to describe in words alone. At the time, Jordan High was the only high school serving the present-day boundaries from the Cottonwood Canyons to 8400 West and Point of the Mountain to 6400 South. The impact and tragic loss left no family untouched. Every South Jordan home had lost a son, daughter, niece, nephew, cousin, or friend. Put up by the city of South Jordan. And this, without doubt, drew national attention as it led to regulations. It all explains here. This bus/train accident sent the community and the nation into mourning, while various religious, charitable, and governmental organizations rallied to support the area. Local and national media coverage brought an outpouring of sympathy for the victims and their families. Business and governmental investigations combed through massive amounts of data to determine what practical improvements could be made to avoid similar catastrophes. Countless generations have benefited from railroad crossing laws and mechanical crossing arms, often taken for granted as a mandatory requirement for bus drivers to not only stop at railroad crossings, but also to open their door and driver's side window to look at and listen for oncoming trains. Resulting from a disaster in a small Utah town, these national regulations are still in place today, making the lives of many school children much safer. So I'm not trying to be comical in any way, but this does kind of remind me of the Schoolhouse Rock cartoon, the musical cartoon, where I'm sure we've all seen I'm Just a Bill, and it talks about how a bill becomes a law and it's signed. And an example they point out is school buses stopping at railroad crossings. So that's what it kind of reminds me of, you know what I mean? And over here are the names of the victims, deceased and surviving. And here are the names. The ones on the left are deceased, the two columns, and the survivors. Let me get out of the sun there. We grieve for their loss, we honor their memory, and we are encouraged by the good that comes from tragedy. And then over here is a poem written by Naomi Lewis, who at age 17 penned the night before she died in the bus train wreck. Oh my gosh. I'll go ahead and I'm not going to read it, but I'm going to go ahead and leave it still for about a few seconds. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Historically Marked. Well, there are many different ways to cope with tragedy, and sometimes you just gotta change it for good, which is, how this marker explained and this memorial did. But I am Jason in South Jordan Cemetery in South Jordan, Utah. Sign off.